Hello, 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 and welcome to the wonderful world of photography. Here we see a picture of my Harley-Davidson Serv-Car. It is a three-wheeled motorcycle that was primarily used by police forces to give out parking tickets. And, well, they're stable and they're cool. They are cool. The engine is a 45 cubic inch flathead, which is very similar to a lawnmower engine, but it is part of the Harley history. First put into production in 1929 and finally retired in 1974, this engine was like a lot of Harley engines in that weren't interested in RPMs, they were interested in years. So they were slow and not incredibly powerful, just like these machines, because these machines were not meant to go on the highway. They were not meant to chase down criminals. They were meant to catch up to people who had parked illegally. And indeed, that's what they could do. They were very good at catching cars that were parked. Anyway, this one here I've had for a very, very, very long time. It's no longer yellow, which was the color of the Toronto Police, or sorry, the Metropolitan Toronto Police back then. The people who would give out the tickets were not police, they were parking control officers. And they would wear green uniforms, and thus the name Green Hornet came to be known, because if you were parked in a bad spot, they would sting you. Yes, they would sting you for a ticket. Anyway, earlier on, the box on these beasts was made of metal. It had separate fenders. It also had little handles on the side and kind of a big seat pad so that one police person could ride and the other person could have this long stick with a chalk thing on it, and they could chalk tires. And how would they do this? Well, they would go along slowly, very slowly, along the side of the cars. And with a long stick, they would mark the tires, which would indicate that in an hour or two, or however that long the parking time was, that a car had still been there and was worthy of being ticketed. Anyway, another interesting thing about these is, at least mine is, and I think they all were, unlike many, many motorcycles, the clutch is not on the left hand, the clutch is on the left foot, and on the side of the tank is a gear shifter. And there's a little gate that it sits in, which marks off neutral, 1, 2, 3, and yes, reverse. Now you can't see it in the picture because, of course, it's on the other side. And the front brake is on the hand, the right hand, and the back brake is on the right foot. And of course, yes, there is a differential in there. There is. I heard many years later that at one point, Ford essentially tried to bankrupt Harley-Davidson over the making of this machine, and giving them all the research and development costs, and kept changing the specifications, etc., etc. And then thought, oh, well, once we've got them all really messed up, then we'll swoop in and buy them. Well, Ford did not win this battle, the Harley-Davidson people said, after all of this. Stuck to their guns, as it were, and continued on without the benefit of Ford. But I guess the thing of it is the rear end was something that Ford made, so I would suspect there are old Ford parts and things that would be interchangeable with the rear end on the Serv-Car, at least at some point. They would. Anyway, so where is this picture taken? Well, It is in front of the Miners Bay Lodge, which is in Ontario. It is not far from Moore Falls, which is not far from Norland, which is not far from Cobequid. On the other end of the geographical situation, Minden is the next major town to the north, and after that, Haliburton. It's on Highway 35, and it is well known because you kind of, as you're coming north on it, you kind of go down into a valley, a bit of a valley, and there's a place, there are signs saying, hey, watch out, because the people who go here might be crossing the road to go to the lake, and they do. And then it kind of glides gently to the left, and you go up this very, well, not incredibly large, but a large hill. It is cut through a hill, and so it's there's a lot of rock cuts up in the north, but this is a big one, so people often remember that. Anyway, this was taken, I believe, in September, when no one was really around, and I thought, this is kind of a classic location, and I have a classic motorcycle, so I might as well shoot the two of them together. And indeed, here is the result. So I have not had this bike out since around the COVID time, but I need to get it going again. Figured there weren't many biking events going on then, and everyone was staying home. Anyway, this old engine, I remember a friend of mine who lived around the corner said, boy, it sure has that old police bike sound. To which I said, well, yes, of course it would, because it's an old police bike. In the middle, on the speedometer, it even says police special. And I'm just trying to think of what else is in. Oh, you know what? It has an electric start, not a kickstart, and it takes a car battery, and the car battery sits in the box, but there's a hole in the bottom of the box, and then there's a little place where you load the battery into, and it connects. And it has a real car alternator that keeps everything running and everything charged, and it's quite something. So I do need to get it out again. Undoubtedly when I do, I'll shoot videos of getting it back rolling, and undoubtedly at some point I'll probably end up taking it to a fellow I've known for probably 50 years or more, because we grew up on streets just apart from each other, and his dad had a gas station on Avenue Road, and now they continue to run an a auto repair place, which is no longer on Avenue Road, but still bears the name it does. Anyway, so I suspect I might need the rear brakes done, and years ago I did make a trip to the United States, and I did pick up the parts required for that. The front brake is indeed a disc brake. The back brakes are drum brakes. But I don't think it should be an incredibly horrible process to get done. Anyway, so there it is, my Harley-Davidson Serv-Car, otherwise known as a pie wagon, with an engine that is 45 cubic inches, flathead, often known as a 4.5, or a flathead, or a flatty. They did make an 80-inch flathead engine. I don't have that. But I have seen pictures that I think during World War II they did make a version of this bike for the military with the 80-inch engine for a little more get up and go, I believe. Anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Have a lovely, lovely day. And if you have any questions about this bike, or, well, I don't know much about the Miners Bay Lodge, but I know it's still there. I will do my best to answer. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.